back to the streets.
Snowmobiling, but doesn't look like it's happening this week. Hey guys, Tim here with Urban Snow. Since if you're like me, I'm in Minneapolis, St. Paul area here. We don't have any snow. As a matter of fact, I'm in the garage. It got almost a high of 50 degrees today. And I had plans to go snowmobiling over the new year, but instead, I thought I'd pull my 2023 XCR into the garage and go over some of the parts that I use and why I use it, and kind of do a quick product review. I'm not going to go into detail on a lot of it because we're going to cover a lot of stuff, but just wanted to give a shout out to a whole bunch of guys that I've been following on YouTube and learning over the last few years. But I myself have been riding since early 80s. Started with a Yamaha 340, worked my way up to a phaser, then an exciter, had an SRX, had a VMAX, had a Skidoo in there, a Mach 1, had an SX 700. The last Yamaha I had was a Yamaha Nitro XTX with the 144-inch track, and then I went to Polaris. I've got a 2020 600 XC 137, and then I've got my 23 XCR, and this is a 136, just because of the different pitch on the lug. So let's get into some of this, but before I get into this, I want to give a shout out to some guys that I follow on YouTube that have, I've been able to learn and pick up things off of them. So Rev Rider 550, I was following him back when he was riding the old Access chassis Assaults, when he moved into that. Upstate Blake, been following him. Jesse James, and his 322 threads, hopefully I didn't screw that up, but he's got a lot of knowledge, especially he's friends with Bruce, who owns the Polaris dealership out on the East Coast there. Tons of good information on setting up suspensions. Munson Motorsports, guys hands-on, got a lot of good stuff on there, especially if you're a Skidoo rider. And then Pete over at Redneck Dirty Hands, I love it. He's always wrenching and bringing the greasy triples back to life. So one of the first things I want to show really quick, the thing that bothers me about all Polaris sleds for the past few years, you're spending $20,000 on a snowmobile, you're getting all these bells and whistles, the F7 display, everything. You can't give me a handlebar riser that's anodized. They give me these raw aluminum handlebar risers that are just garbage. So it's just a pet peeve of mine. Skidoo doesn't do that to any of their customers. It's just, if you look at this thing, it's just, it doesn't scream quality, nor does it scream fit and finish. So the first thing I do with all my Polaris is I put a different riser on it, adjust it to the height you want. I've been using Cheetah Factory Racing handlebar risers for probably 4 years now, and I really enjoy it. Got a handlebar grip on here. This has the Pro Taper bars on it. Let's back right back out here quick. I want to start with some of the other things I added. I added on mirrors right away. I added on the mountain windshield. This has been, if you look closely here, let me grab my flashlight. I do this just for aesthetics with all my windshields. I either vinyl wrap them or I paint them on the inside. So you can see that this is black and only this is see-through, the top part of it. Part of it is just for practicality if I ever needed to squat down. The other part is just kind of for aesthetics. You can see I got the upgraded vents in here. I painted the vent, skid plate. I've got a BMP bumper, extremely durable. C&A Pro skis. Guys, if you know, you know. I'm not gonna go into detail why I use C&A Pro skis. I've used them all. I was a big curved ski guy. I don't like heavy steering. I like to have a little firm steering, but I don't like it to push a lot into the corners. I ride fast, and if the snow gets loose, it's more dangerous coming into a corner at 30, 40 miles an hour if I end up scooting over to the other side of the trail. The other thing I'm a big believer in, and if we can come down here and take a look, I got Bergstrom triple point carbides. Guys, there's a ton of information online about Bergstrom. You can't go wrong. They last forever. I mean, I can get tons of miles out of those carbides. I like them. I know there's guys that love shaper bars. I know there's guys that love the Woody's Maverick. They like the square bar. The square bar to me, is kind of aggressive at first. A round bar tends to be softer. You've got 3 8-inch segments of carbide on the bottom of these things. They're smooth with incredible control. The other thing I like with CNA Pro skis, Polaris has an issue with their Pro Steer skis, is with the CNA Pro skis, the rubbers put more heel pressure. You can see this isn't going up. That's got heel pressure. It's only going up in this way. If you were to put my sled up in the air with the stock Pro skis, the skis hang flat. And actually they wear the wear bars out on the front on here. So something that we've been doing for a while on the Polarises has been shimming them and been having really good luck. Some of the other things I want to show on here really quick. Little things I do that I don't like that some of the other manufacturers do. Ski-Doo riders, you know, you guys have got fit and finish stuff going on. But this is just neoprene. I buy it in sheets, it just sticks on here. But you see these things don't eat my paint off as I'm riding on there. And it's just kind of finishing because this surface also gets hot from your heat exchangers. Just clips on there. Just another way to add a little quality to it. I want to talk studding because I just put the studs in this track. There's a lot of controversy about studs. I used to be a big fan of Top Gun studs. I've used Woodies, I've used Stud Boys. I'm a big fan of Stud Boy Pro Light backers, and these are unique because there's no nut, there's no washer on these things. The other thing, and I don't want to cover details on why I like it. You can go research all the forums, find out if it's a good fit for you. They are a little more difficult to install. I do not soak them in a crock pot with soap or water on them. I run them in with my impact driver, just cold. But I want to show you the stud right here. This is something I'm passionate about. And I want to give a shout out to Spanky's Power Sports in Michigan. They're in northern Michigan. Extreme Max studs I've been buying from them. These studs here are stainless steel. They don't ever rust on me. Significantly cheaper than any stud on the market. They have a 2-year warranty, bend or break, a full 1-inch head. The head is thin, so this profile sinks into the track nicely. So it doesn't stick up. I have never bent one with these backers on it, and I've never actually ever broken one of these studs. And I cannot say that about the other manufacturer studs. So give them a check. I'm gonna show them out here. Platinum Series stud, Extreme Max. I think they're made in Minnesota somewhere here. I've had really, really good results with them. Now I want to get into some of the things that I've did to my sled as far as performance-wise and some other features and benefits that I think, you know, that benefit my riding experience. So first things first, I like electric start. I'm getting old. It is what it is. Mountain riders, aggressive guys trying to save weight don't like electric start. Electric start, I have an anti-gravity battery. The battery is maybe 2 pounds at best. It saves about 7 pounds off your stock lead acid battery. So a lithium battery. The issue with a lithium battery, guys, do your own research again on it, is when it gets below 0, you gotta turn the key on, put power draw on the battery. You actually have to wake the battery up or it's gonna act like a dead battery. However, with Polaris, you still got a pull cord. Never been stranded, actually I've never had an issue with it. There's been times when it's 10 or 15 below, I come out in the morning, I turn the key on, the F7 will fire up. I let it sit for 5 minutes before turning it over. The other thing is HPS. I love their silencers. They're noisy without being obnoxiously noisy. I can't tell you, I ride a lot in the UP of Michigan. I ride a lot in Wisconsin, upstate Minnesota. You will get fined or you'll have to run aggressively from the DNR for having a race can. I like the noise, but it's just, it's not practical, guys. Let's come on this side really quick. One of the other things I've done to this sled is, this has a TJ Patrick Custom Carbon cover on it with titanium bolts. It's been balanced and lightened. And then I have a Starting Line Performance, they're out in Idaho, clutch kit in it. And the secondary has also been balanced. So right now I have the clutch kit and the silencer on it, but then I did something else. Well, let's take the hood off here. Suckers are heavy with that F7 display in there. So the other thing I did, if we come in close here, if we want to come down here and take a look. If you've noticed, this is the stock cover. Take a look at that pipe. Take a look at the Y pipe back in there. Now, first thing you'd say is, oh, he's got an aftermarket pipe and Y pipe on there. Guys, I've done a lot of testing. I like using a lot of aftermarket guys. I live close here. We got Bikeman Performance that's close, Speedworks that's close, Straight Line Performance. They're all close to the Twin Cities here. I go to Heydays all the time, do a lot of research. This is the stock Y pipe and the stock pipe. I've honed out the stock Y pipe by like 3 millimeters slightly. And I just had it ceramic coated by Race Coatings. He's up in, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the area. He's up in the North Metro area, but he does a lot of ceramic coating for a lot of the performance guys in the industry. So it's been ceramic coated. Why would I want to ceramic coat my stock pipe? A, I feel like the stock pipe has the broadest power band. B, I'm playing around with the Y pipe. There's a lot of controversy about if you can actually get power out of those or not. But the idea is to keep the heat from going under the hood and keeping the heat back in there. So I had to take this off and I reclamped this heat on because Polaris does a nice job with this insulation. So now everything is ceramic coated to keep the heat in. The next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to ride it first because I'm probably going to have to adjust the clutch more, is I'm a big fan down in Cannon Falls, Indy Specialties. I'm going to get their custom heads to keep the, they do a better job keeping the heads cooled. And I'm also going to look at getting a reflash on my unit here, as far as reflashing the carburation, the fuel injection. There's a lot of people talking about having the heat builds up in the pipe too much. It can kind of put it in limp mode and prevent it. So if you're doing long pull after pull on the lake, it could prevent, could slightly prevent you from getting maximum horsepower. So anyways, I like to do things in series. I add performance parts on. I don't do it all on at once. I drive, the first year I get a new snowmobile, I drive it bone stock, the way it comes out of the box. I adjust the suspension settings. I've already turned these up slightly in the fronts. I've also, one thing I want to show you guys, anyone who's running these Polarises with the Pro CC skids, they all have the same problem, and everyone's going to argue on how to adjust these. There's a lot of YouTubers. I know Jesse James is talking about the heavy-duty torsion springs. Well, this year they came in, the XCR. I would agree with the heavy-duty torsion springs. I'm not a light guy. I'm 230 pounds without gear. But what is the number one thing here is the center shock. Take a look at where the gas tank is. Take a look at where the engine is. Take a look at where my 230, maybe 250 with gear sits. It's all over the center shock. Guys, the center shock's always on both my XC that has a Pro CC skid and this. I've had to stiffen it up. I've increased preload slightly, and I've increased probably 3 clicks in from stock standard settings. I typically like a lot of weight transfer, so I don't pull up my limiter strap. I tend to stiffen the center shock up quite a bit and a little bit on the skis, so I get more ski pressure. I like leaving the back end soft. I like the ability when you hammer the throttle, the skis will jump up in the air a little bit. Obviously, there's a trade-off. If you hammer the throttle into a corner, you're going to get a little ski lift on there. But each is to their own. Trying to think what else I have that I can show on here. I think that's pretty much it, guys. I'm excited to get out and go snowmobiling here. I've got 4 trips planned in the West UP. Some with friends, some with family. If any of you guys are snowmobiling in Michigan, let me know, or in Minnesota or Wisconsin. I'd love to meet you. Some other things I do is Skins Performance. They used to make chip guards. If you look closely on here, you can see it looks like carbon fiber. Skins had rubberized chip guards that was like a thick rubber sticker. This is just a thick chunk of vinyl that looks like carbon fiber that I wrap on here. All that does is help the paint from chipping, guys. I'm hitting weeds, little sticks, saplings in there. It's obviously not going to prevent it from bending, but it's more of an aesthetic thing. Looks cool, helps the paint not chip up underneath here. If any of you guys have questions, feel free to go ahead and put a comment down below. If you like this information, you want to see more of what I'm doing or anything more about this sled, just let me know. You can like and subscribe. Till then, I'll see you guys on the trail, and thanks for joining us. Hey guys, a couple things I wanted to add that I didn't get a chance to add is just keep in mind, these are my opinions. Obviously, everyone thinks they're right. I just want to share some things that I've done and that I found works for me research-wise. So I'm just trying to share it. So don't beat me up over this. The other thing I want to mention, and I didn't get a chance, is big fan of DuPont or Vespel sliders. They have Teflon inserts in the actual slider. I put a set on when I get a sled. They're kind of expensive, $200 a pair, but I never have to replace it. And I'll get 8,000 miles probably on that one pair of slider and not have to worry about changing them ever. Especially if you're running lean or slim snow conditions. One of the other things I wanted to just mention really quick, if you use a handheld Garmin, I'm a big fan of VV Mapping. Jeremy with VV Mapping, they do, I think, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. I think he does Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. He may have a few other states I know he's doing in there, but very detailed. It's $10 a year. I get updated mapping every year. It's really $10 for 2 years because you get the first subscription and then a renewal. This thing is 99.9% accurate. Yes, I have my S7 display, but that's about 70% accurate. There's a lot of things on here, little roads and ORV trails and footpaths and ski roads and mountain bike roads that I love to blast down when the trails are all beat up. So check them out, VV Map. And the other thing is I misspoke a couple times in the video, so don't go crazy. I think I accidentally called the S7 display an F7. It's not an Arctic Cat. But if anyone's riding in the UP, we're going to be going here in a week up to Gogebic area, staying at the Root Cellar. Usually we're at the Gogebic Lodge, but I'm going to be around that area. Granted, if they have snow here, we're supposed to be riding this weekend, which is New Year's weekend, but it's just not happening. All right, guys, be safe. We'll see you on the trail.